It was a cold evening in the heart of New York City, the kind of evening where the golden lights of restaurants glowed like beacons of warmth against the biting wind. Inside one of the city's most exclusive restaurants, known for serving billionaires, royalty, and celebrities, a woman of quiet grace and remarkable presence walked in. Her name was Eleanor Davenport, better known as Madame Davenport in the business world. She was 82 years old, silver-haired, elegant, and the matriarch of one of the richest families in America. Her businesses stretched across continents, her influence touched every corner of finance and real estate, yet that night, she wanted nothing more than a quiet dinner with her only grandson, Daniel. Eleanor had weathered the storms of life. She had buried a husband she adored, survived boardroom battles, and seen fortunes rise and fall. But beneath her diamond necklace and velvet shawl was a heart that carried deep scars, wounds from the past that no amount of money could heal. For decades, she carried one regret heavier than any other, the loss of her mother's locket, a family heirloom passed down through generations. It wasn't made of gold or diamonds, but of simple silver, engraved with delicate roses. Inside was a faded picture of Eleanor as a child, standing hand in hand with her late mother. The locket vanished nearly 50 years ago during a burglary in her old home, and she had never seen it again. Every time she thought of it, tears welled in her eyes, because it was the only tangible piece left of her mother's love. As Eleanor sat down, a young waitress approached her table. She was no older than 22, wearing a plain uniform slightly too big for her petite frame. Her eyes were tired but kind, her voice soft but cheerful as she asked if she could take their order. Eleanor barely looked up at first, until something caught her attention. Her eyes froze, her fork slipped from her hand, and her heart pounded like a drum. Around the young waitress's neck hung a silver locket, the exact locket Eleanor had lost half a century ago. Her breath caught. Her wrinkled hand trembled as she whispered, "That necklace, where did you get that?" The waitress, startled by the sudden intensity in the elderly woman's voice, instinctively touched the locket as if to protect it. "Oh, this. It belonged to my mother. She passed away 2 years ago. She always told me it was special, that I should never part with it." Tears welled in Eleanor's eyes. She leaned forward, her voice breaking. "My dear, that locket, it was my mother's. It was stolen from me decades ago." The young woman's face paled. Her name was Lily Carter, and she couldn't believe what she was hearing. That heirloom, which she had clung to during nights of hunger and grief, belonged to this billionaire stranger. She felt her chest tighten in fear. "No, this can't be, this is all I have left of her. I can't lose it." In that moment, the restaurant fell away. It was just the two of them, an old woman drowning in memories and a young woman terrified of losing the only link to her mother. Eleanor's tears spilled down her cheeks. She reached out a trembling hand, not to take the necklace, but to hold Lily's. "I don't want to take it from you, child. Please don't fear me. I only want to know, how did it come into your mother's hands? Do you know?" And that was where the story began to unravel like threads from a tapestry. Lily explained that her mother, Mary Carter, had been a maid decades ago, working in wealthy households. When Lily was a baby, her mother found the locket in a pawn shop. It was scratched, forgotten, and sold for pennies. Mary bought it, cleaned it, and wore it every day, telling her daughter it was a symbol of strength, of a family legacy worth more than money. She never knew its true origins. As Eleanor listened, her heart ached. The locket had traveled through time, fate, and pain, only to find its way back to her. Resting now on the neck of a struggling young waitress, Eleanor asked gently, "Tell me, child, how have you been living? Do you have family?" Lily lowered her eyes. "It's just me. My mother worked herself to death trying to provide for me. I'm working double shifts to pay rent and keep food on the table. College, dreams, all of that feels impossible now. This necklace is the only thing that makes me feel close to her, the only thing that reminds me I'm not completely alone." The old woman's heart broke wide open. She saw herself in Lily, young, hungry for love, desperate for hope. She remembered her own childhood of scarcity before fortune blessed her family. She knew what it meant to cling to something small yet sacred. But Daniel, Eleanor's grandson, saw things differently. He leaned forward and whispered, "Grandma, this is unbelievable. That's your heirloom. We can prove it." You could take it back. Eleanor shook her head firmly. No, Daniel. This young woman needs it more than I do. That locket found its way to her for a reason. Still, she couldn't let Lily walk away without helping her. Over the next hour, Eleanor and Lily spoke like long-lost family. Eleanor learned of Lily's struggles, being evicted twice, skipping meals so she could pay bills, hiding her tears behind a waitress's smile. She learned of Lily's dreams of becoming a teacher, dreams buried under the weight of survival. Eleanor made a decision that would change both their lives forever. She took Lily's hand once more and said, "My dear, I believe God, or fate, or destiny, whatever you wish to call it, brought you to me tonight. That locket carries my mother's love, and now it carries your mother's love too. I don't want it back. But I want to give you something far greater." The next week, Eleanor arranged for Lily to have a fully furnished apartment, tuition paid for college, and a trust fund that would cover her expenses while she studied. She gave her a job in one of her foundations, not as a waitress, but as a scholarship coordinator, so she could help others like herself. At first, Lily resisted. She didn't want charity. But Eleanor reminded her gently, "This is not charity. This is legacy. The locket was stolen from me, but it was never lost, it was waiting to be found. You are the one meant to carry it forward. By helping you, I am honoring my mother, your mother, and every mother who sacrificed everything for her child." Months passed, and Lily's life transformed. She walked into classrooms with her head high, studying education and child psychology. She worked with Eleanor's foundation, giving scholarships to students who had nothing but dreams. The shy waitress who once thought the world had forgotten her was now a beacon of hope for others. And every time she touched the locket around her neck, she whispered, "Thank you, Mom. Thank you for guiding me here." As for Eleanor, she found peace she had long prayed for. The pain of losing the locket was healed by the joy of seeing it carry new meaning through Lily. For the first time in decades, she didn't cry from grief, but from gratitude. One evening, standing on stage at a charity gala, Eleanor introduced Lily to the world. With tears in her eyes, she said, "This young woman is living proof that family is not just blood, it is love, sacrifice, and the bonds we choose to honor. A piece of jewelry may have been stolen, but love can never be stolen. It only grows stronger when shared." The audience erupted in applause, not for Eleanor's wealth, but for the richness of her heart. And so, the story of a billionaire grandmother and a poor waitress became a story of destiny, legacy, and love. A story that reminded the world that sometimes, the smallest treasures carry the greatest power, not because of their value, but because of the love they represent. Final inspiring message for viewers. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to remember that kindness can change a life, and love is the greatest inheritance we can ever pass on. Backhand index pointing right. Please comment below what part of this story moved you the most. Backhand index pointing right. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Be kind always for more emotional and inspiring stories that remind us of the goodness in humanity.